Good morning, everyone. I'm Jack. So kind of going to do a quick webinar, just some quick wins on Microsoft Teams. Are you utilizing it properly and correctly and kind of making the most of what's available to you? So I'll do a quick introduction to Qlic IT. Some of you may know, some of you may not. We're a managed IT support company, so we can help you with anything IT related, whether that be just a hot desk where you need to kind of call in and get a quick fix, can't connect to your printer, your emails aren't working. We can also help you with cloud solutions, whether you want to kind of explore different options available to you, making sure you're kind of up to date with cybersecurity and also any of your telecoms needs as well, phones, mobiles, broadband, anything like that. So just kind of a quick what we're going to be going over today, kind of difference in chats and channels, and how to utilize them in the best way possible, meetings and calls, what other little kind of quick wins you can do within calls to make stuff easier for you, the integrations you have within Teams, file sharing, and obviously the security and compliance within it as well. Why the quick wins matter. We want to essentially making sure you guys are building momentum, making sure you're doing things as quickly and efficiently as possible. They can reduce frustration, especially in the file sharing side. And you also, if you're doing quick chats, instead of using emails and having to look for emails and find out, go through chains and see what people are saying, you can have quick messages with people and reach them quick. So it's just kind of more productive, especially internally. So the first thing is kind of keeping the chats and channels organized. And so for the chats, obviously you want to quickly message someone. You could also have group chats as well. So if you've got a group of people asking, you can have it as a specific team. But you can also use channels for this. And the channels are a good way of kind of highlighting big issues or making public announcements to everyone, or checking attendance, or say putting messages out, getting everyone to reply in a channel rather than clogging up all your day-to-day chats, keeping them separate. Just make sure you're using like app mentions to reach the right people. So let's say you've got a lot of people in a chat or a channel and you put a message in there, you don't want everyone to kind of waste their time looking at stuff if it's not related to them. So make sure you're kind of using the app mentions for them, kind of highlighting the right people. You can also use at everyone. So if you want everyone's attention on it, you can use that as well. So also at the bottom there, it says kind of adopt a simple naming conventions to your Teams channels and chats as well. So making sure it's not complicated and making sure that it's kind of as simple as possible. So say keep it for your channels for your finance team or your volunteers. Nothing too complicated, otherwise things will start to get confusing, and it's kind of what you want to avoid, really. So that this bit is kind of for the meeting side of it. So what's the best way to utilize the tools inside while you're during a meeting, essentially? So there are a lot of different things you can do here. So when creating the meeting, you can set an agenda so people can come prepared, and so they know what the meeting's about and anything they may need to prepare beforehand, any documents or any notes, anything like that. You can also, while in the meeting, you kind of have the bar at the top. You can start recordings, so you can record it. And with Copilot now, you can generate AI notes for you of the whole meeting. So you don't have to sit there taking notes. You can focus on the meeting, and then the AI can give you the notes afterwards. There's stuff like breakout rooms on there as well. So say you have your fully remote organization, for example, and you need a company day, you can get everyone in a meeting and then you can create breakout rooms so people can go and do workshops and separate meetings in their little groups. And you can set the groups yourself, you can let it randomly assign groups, or you can let people pick their own groups. Very handy. And there's other built-in features like transcription as well, live captions as well. If anyone's hard of hearing, you can set up captions, and then there's an additional license that if you have questions about after, feel free to ask in the Q&A, that you can use for translations as well. We've had a few people ask for that recently. Okay, so this is now onto the files side of it. This where we kind of see what's better of using emails or Teams, especially internally. Um, Kind of Teams makes file sharing kind of editing simple. You can add live versions of documents so you can collaborate on them in real time with your colleagues. Um, this avoids kind of confusion where maybe you send a document, someone works on it, sends one back, and you've got lots of duplicates. This one, people can work on it all at the same time and you can see the work that they're doing. This is really handy. You can send this into Teams and channels, and even apply them to meetings as well. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to send a document that doesn't want to be edited, emails are good for that as well, but you can also attach the file through your computer. They'll be attached and you can go browse this computer to do it like that rather than just adding the file directly. But by doing this, you kind of want to make sure you review kind of all your permissions, making sure you're sharing to the right people, making sure you're not giving it to anyone that shouldn't be having it and shouldn't have access to it. And we'll kind of talk about the safeguarding side of it and the best ways to kind of protect your organization when sharing files and setting up teams as well. The best way to kind of do this as well is make sure you have all your files synced with OneDrive and SharePoint. If you need any help on this, do let us know. There will be a link to kind of book in a little consultation if you want to talk about any of this in more detail, whether you're an existing customer or not, or something you want to make use of. Do just use that link. You can book in time with us to talk about it. So the good thing about Teams as well, if there's important files that you need filling out a lot, you can obviously upload them into Teams, work on them real time, but you can also pin these messages in Teams. Quite simple, usually just right click and then pin this message, and then that way, no matter how far or how many messages come into your chat or channel, you can always see it at the top, and it'll take you directly to that message. Kind of adding to that as well. If you're working in a channel and there's lots of messages, lots of people in there, you can mute the channels as well, but you can set your muting. So as I mentioned earlier, with your mentions, when you're mentioning people, you can set your muting unless you're mentioned. So if it's a chat that's used a lot and it's very important, you don't want to miss anything, but a lot of it isn't for you or not needed for you, you can kind of see the messages that are related to you, and that way you can run smoothly without being disturbed throughout your entire day. Now we're going to kind of move on to the safeguarding side of this and how to kind of make sure everything's as basically protected as possible, and how to kind of keep up with obviously current cyber security issues. So the minimum ones here is kind of enabling multi-factor authentication, and this basically just stops people. A lot of you may have this already. If you don't, it's definitely something you should look at. It's obviously having to put a PIN in when you sign in. This avoids people who somehow may have your password or may have your details, stops them logging in as like an extra kind of barrier to protect it. Also, kind of on from that, the permissions and external sharing. A lot of people in Teams and SharePoint want to share files externally, and you kind of need to make sure your permissions are set up correctly for that, and making sure that the access that the external people have is limited. It's kind of linking to the guest access there below. As obviously sharing with guests is a lot easier sometimes, and it can be very handy, but you do want to make sure that the right people see it, as obviously with GDPR, anything that can be leaked will end up being a huge problem. We do a lot of phishing training. That's something you should do within your organization if that's something you want to look into as well. It's very good sending, trying to keeping people alert on what the type of emails coming in to try and get your information look like. We use one where if someone will send out a fake phishing email, if someone clicks on it, they'll have to do a little 5-minute refresh course on how to spot them. It's very important keeping everyone up to date. They're not slowing down. They're always going to be there. But if you were to get or fall for a phishing email, stuff like multi-factor authentication really does make a difference, because that's another step that they'll need to get past. So it's always good to kind of review kind of everyone's opinion on it and where they are with spotting phishing emails, making sure they're kind of aware, and also review your permissions set up on SharePoint and for Teams file sharing, and your retention policies as well. So, are chats? How long are chats staying for? Are they staying forever? Can you get them deleted after a certain time? And the same with meetings as well. Any meeting notes will be deleted after a certain amount of time, especially if you're using the AI ones. So do check that you've kept them stored correctly, or make sure that they're not sitting around for ages, as they will just take up space. The main one would be using only chat instead of channels. I think if you're not making the most of channels, even if it's for little things like just just kind of announcements to colleagues or to different teams, rather than clogging up a lot of chats, I do think it's something to avoid. Channels can be really useful, especially for polls. You can upload polls in there if you, let's say you want to make a big decision or something. You can get people's opinion, and you can avoid clogging up chats in this. And also with channels, they're separate from your chats, so people know it's more important as well if you want. So they're more likely to take a look at it as well. Also, kind of making sure, like I said earlier, you have some items on muted, but only when you get mentioned. This is just to avoid notification overload, as seen here. Too many alerts could just basically make you avoid it and kind of not look at Teams because it's too stressful. Making sure you've managed your chats well, like talk about earlier, keeping the names simple, the permissions and the groups simple, not too complex, and making the most of both chat and channels. Like I said earlier as well, the sharing files outside of Teams when you're using emails, creating multiple versions where you may make some changes, send it to someone, they make some changes, they send it back. You've now got maybe 3 or 4 copies of one document, all going back and forth through email. It's very easy to get confused and kind of miss the work that's been done and seeing what changes happen, and very easy to lose these as well, kind of which is the correct document. So using Teams, you can do the real-time collaboration with other people, so you can see the work that's being done, and it's only one copy, one document. If there are mistakes made, you do need to go back. You can go back through the version history as well, but this way you don't create 7 or 8 documents. You just have one, and it kind of stops it clogging up your files, clogging up Teams channels, clogging up your emails. Just makes things a lot simpler for all of you. And also the last one is neglecting permissions and security. So without regular reviews, you may notice that people have left or people who've changed departments still have access to things that they shouldn't have access to. So do always get a review in, maybe every 6 months to a year, just to check that all the permissions are up to date. Check in the guest access permissions, seeing if people should still have this access, or if people are not, who are accessing things that they probably shouldn't see, or even if you create something new and you didn't set it up properly, it can all create kind of, so it's like a whirlwind of different permissions, and it gets confusing. And so it's good to review them basically as often as possible. How can you kind of get some quick wins, your action plan? How can you tidy up your teams? So obviously, can you pick one channel to tidy up, rename it clearly, pin it for easy access, use tags in the group and tag the correct people, make announcements clearly, use a meeting feature. So we spoke about obviously the breakout rooms. If you use one of them for your next big team event or team meeting, or if you just need a quick chat with someone while in a meeting, are you going to enable transcription? Are you going to look at Copilot, enabling Copilot in the meeting? Try and see if you can use one of them and if they can make a difference for you. Try collaborating on a file in real time. I know obviously some people, it's a big change, but see if it makes a difference. See if it makes things easier to track for you. Obviously this can be done in Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And like I said, to avoid emailing back and forth and slowing both of you down. because it's, again, you want to be as efficient as possible and not just making it easier and not clogging up your files and emails. It's just a lot quicker as well. And also check your security basics. Make sure multi-factor authentication is turned on, and that your meetings are using the lobby feature to control access. So a bit like this one today, where you sat in the lobby before it started. Make sure that's on, just so you can review the people coming in and make sure that no one has somehow got external access, and then they can join your meeting and record anything in there, maybe private information you're talking about. So make sure you have your multi-factor authentication checked. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.